Cinema Cult, a.k.a. October Scarefest, a.k.a. Monster Madness, a.k.a. Spaghetti Madness. I'm Chris.
I'm Matt.
I'm Honto.
And this week we are doing the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, directed by Tobe Hooper. This is my pick. I picked this because I just watched the first one, and to be honest, I kind of want to talk about the second one. So, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, what do you think it has on Rotten Tomatoes, Matt?
I'm going to go say a 46%.
Honto?
59.
47.
Wow.
Not bad. And how much do you think the budget was?
Oh, wait, this is always hard. Like, now I know.
Go with the Honto for answers.
How you feel, though, with, like, getting those older movies. You can say yes.
You can use your words.
You're, like, nodding your head, like, in agreement. But, like, yeah, those older movies, and you're just like, I don't know how much is a lot and how much is, yeah.
Welcome to my world.
I would say, okay, because we just did Mouth of Madness, and that was 14. So I'm going to say about, like, $4 million was the budget.
Okay. Honto, what do you think?
That's stupid. Oh, my God. No, $2 million. $2 million.
Which one is it, man?
$2 million.
Okay, Honto.
1 million.
Okay, Matt, you just stuck with the original. It was $4.7 million.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn,
Box
that's
office, it did not have an international release. It was just domestic only. How much do you think it made?
Oh, I think it made $2 million.
Okay, Honto?
1 million.
Made $8 million.
Oh, wow.
Unlike Mouth of Madness, this one made some money.
This is why my bank account looks so bad. I don't understand how money works.
I thought that's not a negative. I thought that was like, I don't know. It's not a negative, you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Texas Chainsaw 2. We've all seen this. We've watched it together.
Yeah.
Me and Honto fell asleep at the end.
Oh, yeah. It was a weird... I kept waking up because there's lots of chainsaw noises.
Yeah, we got together.
It's not a good movie to sleep to.
This was a couple of years ago where we got together at my mom's house and had a fire, and it was October. And we went inside to watch a movie, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 was on, and we all three put it on. And you guys both fell asleep, and I was, like, enjoying it, the hell out of it, because I hadn't seen it in years.
I think I even fell asleep, like, earlier than that. I think, like, in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That doesn't surprise me.
Especially, like, when it's that awesome scare that pops up about 30, 40 minutes into the movie.
In the radio station?
And you guys just, like, both, like, immediately, like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like,
It was cool. Matt, you told me about that scene. You're like, there's one scare in this movie I always remember, and it scares me each time. I was like, don't tell me. I was like, I don't remember anything about this movie.
did it get you?
Well, once I saw it, I was like, oh, I think I knew what it was. And it happened. And then I was like, okay, that's a good scare.
Dude,
That
it
is
gets
pretty-
me every time I watch
Yeah,
it.
it's done
I know
so
it's
well.
coming, and it's just like...
It's great.
Yeah, it's something about, like, the immediate... Okay, so to set it up, it's in the radio station, and...
Well, we'll just talk about it when we get
Okay,
to
all
it.
right.
So, yeah,
Later
1985's Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 made 13 or 14 years after the original. This movie is cool because I don't feel like they're trying to do the exact same thing. I
No.
will give it already gets a point because I
No,
feel
yeah.
like it's a fresh take.
This is like...
Now, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, this is like the Evil Dead versus Evil Dead 2 situation we got here.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. The first one's a legit horror movie, and this is like a straight comedy.
Oh, I thought you
Now-
meant as far as like, well, I'm saying like with this one, it's not the same hashed out plot. Like, a couple of kids go on a trip. Like, you're
Yeah.
not watching the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
But I
this
do
is
agree.
where... This is the bone of contention with a lot of fans of the series is... you either love this movie or you hate it because it's so wildly different from the
It's
first
out
movie.
there for sure.
Yeah, and I was reading something about where it was like Tobe Hooper said he's like, well, there's a lot of humor in the original. People just didn't get it, and I was like, no, there's not.
Is it the part where that
I
guy's
was like-
twitching on the floor after
Yeah,
he gets
I
hit
was
in
like,
the head
dude,
with a
there's
hammer?
like no humor in the first one. What Franklin whining the entire movie? That's supposed to be the humor. I was like, there's a lot of intentional humor in this one, but it's not very evident in the first.
I
one.
don't think it is at all. So let's talk about the movie a little bit. Honto, what do you got for some cast and crew? We know it was directed by Tobe Hooper.
Yeah, we actually covered this the first movie years ago.
A long time ago.
But it stars Caroline Williams. I actually have not seen her in anything
I have
else.
seen her in Leprechaun 3.
Oh,
Yeah, I was gonna say I
That's
looked
the
her
only-
up on IMDb afterwards. I was like, oh, Leprechaun 3, and then
That's
I
it.
realized who she
She
was. in
was in it.
Leprechaun 3, and I was like,
There was
oh,
a part.
that's
Do you remember any of the Leprechauns?
I don't think I've seen a single one.
her?
No? Okay. Well, you should.
You are missing
I'm not
out.
the crowd for this
Well-
this description.
I am not your peak audience.
But she's actually in Days of Thunder with Tom Cruise, and then she appears in Hatchet 3. I'm actually going through the Hatchet franchise right now.
I'm
okay.
about to watch Victor Crowley.
Have you seen Hatchet 1, 2, 3?
No, I haven't, but
Okay.
I heard you can you can. That's on my list for Halloween is Victor Crowley. I heard you can kind of go in because it's like as far as like blind and it's
know what?
be pretty.
I actually kind of like the first movie.
Really?
Not a bad movie.
I heard
Me and Matt watched one together. But it was the one with Zach Galligan.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Which is the one she's in?
Which is Hatchet 3.
Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And that was when me and Chris both fell asleep to it.
Okay.
And there's a lot of gun firing in the movie.
And you like wake up.
So we kept, dude, it was so stupid. We fell asleep to it, and within 10 minutes, because it was like one of those like late night ones, like 3 o'clock in the morning. Put something on and we'll fall asleep to it. And like every 5 minutes, there's like a gunfight in this movie.
Okay.
But we kept falling asleep, and every time the gunfight would go off, we'd both wake up and like frantic, and we'd look at each other. And then we'd go back to sleep, and then another gunfight would go off, and we'd wake up and look at each other. And like for some reason, neither one of us would turn the movie off. Like so, we watched the entire movie.
Either
and
turn the
woke up
volume
every 5
down
minutes.
or
That's something we like to do.
So yeah, and then we had Dennis Hopper, amazing actor in this movie.
Who, trivia-wise, thinks this is the next to Super Mario Bros. This is the worst movie he ever made.
But I think he said it initially for this, and then when Super Mario came out, he said that was the worst movie.
But I can imagine like this being pretty stupid to make.
He's also like not really in the movie that much. I feel like
No, he's not. But I feel pretty dumb to be like, oh, like
he's
this
doing
is
Chainsaw
this
in
is
the
when
store.
he's coming out of what year is this?
This is around Blue Velvet. No, it's not.
86.
No, 'cause-
Blue Velvet's like 87, isn't it?
Yeah,
That might be the
he
worst
had
movie he
just,
ever did.
Blue Velvet.
It's okay.
Oh my gosh! Hold on, we'll get
Sorry.
to that second.
Yeah, get out of here.
But like he had just come out of rehab, I think,
Yeah.
before Blue Velvet. So I don't know if he's still like.
He's probably getting his footing still.
Yeah, so I can't imagine like this being like I'm back and being like, oh yeah, I did this chainsaw dual wielding thing with the guy wearing a human face, like wearing a face made out of other people's faces.
Dude, there is some good. Okay, so
It's cool in retrospect. I feel like it'd be
Oh, yeah,
stupid
yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Like if that was like if it was made now and you were a prestigious actor like Dennis Hopper, it'd probably feel really dumb.
Right.
Like I was in Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
I'm in this.
I'm an easy writer.
Yeah.
Who is he? The brother of Franklin?
He
And the
is
girl?
the uncle.
He's
Yeah,
the
he's
uncle.
the uncle.
Yeah.
I thought so. At one point, he comes up and he's like, "Oh, he's like," he sees the wheelchair that Franklin's in, and he says something. He's like, "Blah blah blah, brother," and I was like, I thought he was the uncle. Like I'm so
Yeah.
confused.
Well, he that's his catchphrase. He calls every brother and sister because he
Yeah.
calls Caroline Williams the entire movie like sister.
Sister.
Does I
Like-
guess he kind of does.
Get out of here, sister. You got to run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, sister. I used you.
I used you as bait.
He's a big
Sorry.
Sister Act fan.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
Keep going, please.
Bill Moseley plays Chop Top. We see him in House of 1,000 Corpses.
Before you get to this next, okay, I don't want you to spoil it because I just want to see
Okay.
if I was right. Is the guy that works with her at the radio station, is he from House of 1,000 Corpses?
No, Lou Perryman, I think is his name, plays
Okay.
LG. Nothing that I really recognize him from.
I thought he played the father in House of 1,000 Corpses. I could be wrong.
I don't think I saw that, but he is
Okay.
actually the assistant cameraman for original TCM.
Oh, really?
That's really neat.
Yeah. So
Okay.
he's got some ties with Tobe Hooper in that sense.
That's really cool. Okay.
Not really anybody else, like Jim Siedow, who plays the father, Drayton Sawyer,
Okay.
or the cook. He is in the original
Yeah.
Texas Chainsaw.
He's the only reoccurring actor, I believe.
From-
because I
from
don't
one
even
and
think
two.
Gunnar Hansen's the first
No.
Leatherface, right?
No, yeah, it's Gunnar Hansen, but it's
Well,
Bill
yeah, Gunnar
Johnson.
Hansen's in the first
Yeah.
He's the first Leatherface.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
a different actor in this
You
one.
can even
Yeah.
tell, like, his eyes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of close-ups of Leatherface in this one. I feel
Lots
like
of,
there was in the first one. Or there, yeah, never mind. I take it back.
lots of tongue touching his lips the entire time.
Yeah.
Just like,
Dude, that's how I am when, like, Matt's the same
In
way
the
when we
wintertime?
work on a project.
oh,
Our tongue just keeps licking our lips because that's when we get like
'Cause you
it's
have no
true.
control
Don't
over-
look at me like I'm stupid. You know it's true. When we're in a tense situation, man, we'll lick our lips.
okay.
Keep going with the cast and crew, please.
Sounds like a weird time for two brothers.
Well, we're not licking each other's lips. I mean, oh man, you gotta make it weird, dude.
Yeah, you're over here talking about lips with your brother, and
Oh my gosh.
leave it to the listener's imagination, I guess, for their fan fiction of Cinema Cult. In a deleted scene, apparently, Joe Bob Briggs was.
Yeah. Did you watch it?
Yeah.
I did not.
We watched
Oh.
it. The quality is really rough.
Yeah, right?
Because I think there's also. Is it the same one with the two like the guy with the gun and the driver? Is that a continuation of that scene? Because there is a deleted scene for that.
Okay, there's a weird chunk of this movie that's missing. We gotta acknowledge too that this movie was made for Canon Films.
Oh yeah, and
Canon Films is pretty bonkers.
In
for the
Golem
80s.
and Globus or whatever that production company, they're in association with Canon.
Yeah,
their movies are crazy.
Yeah, so they forced a lot of like stuff to be cut from the movie.
Okay.
So there's a lot of
is there like a director's cut of this somewhere?
I don't think so, but there's a lot of like scenes that ended up on the editing room floor of like the Joe Bob Briggs scene.
Yeah,
and like there's a whole like point in the movie where they have to go catch meat, like basically like collect meat. So there's a lot of killings that happen that they took out of the movie, which is kind of a surprise. Like they would edit that out
for a horror movie, go bigger and better.
This is a gory movie.
Yeah, but there's a body count of 8 people in this movie, and for the first like hour, I think only 2 people die.
Yeah, it's the 2 guys in the car.
Yeah,
which I'm okay with because that
and one of them dies, the other one dies off screen.
Yeah,
that first death is so insane that I'm okay for a half an hour. I'm okay with that.
I love that scene though.
Go ahead.
Are you done with the cast and crew?
Yeah, pretty much. I was just going to say, like, Golden Globus, they're responsible for Superman 4, Quest for Peace.
Yeah.
And a lot of crazy movies. There's one, I was like, I fell down like a rabbit hole because I was like curious to see what else they were involved with because I just watched Superman 4 recently. But they did like a line of like these fairy tale movies, and I was blown away because I'd actually seen one of them when I was a kid, and I remember it being crazy.
Yeah.
And I looked up the ending scene because it's what I remember most about it. It's the ending to Snow White that they did. I remember seeing it as a kid, and it is crazy.
Like the Sigourney Weaver?
Oh, yeah, Sigourney Weaver.
No.
Oh, really?
It's like an 80s, like...
That's what I was thinking when you said that. As soon as you said fairy tales,
that's from like...
oh, it's that Sigourney Weaver one with holding the apple.
Yeah. No, there's like full-on explosions and like the Wicked Witch, like full-on exploding at the end of this movie.
Yeah.
I remember as a kid,
There's a cool documentary on Canon Films.
I need to watch it.
Yeah.
I never watched it.
And it's just basically just talking about how bonkers Canon Films was in the 80s.
Yeah, that sounds crazy.
Have you guys seen the poster for this?
Yes. Yeah, is this the Breakfast Club?
Yeah, I was going to say I didn't know. Yeah,
I always remember it as a kid.
I didn't notice it until someone pointed it out, but yeah, the poster that they did for this movie is mocking the poster for the Breakfast Club,
which came out a year earlier.
It's just a weird thing to like.
86 is 86.
I think 85 is Breakfast Club.
Or what year is this movie?
This is 85.
No, 86.
This is 86. Breakfast Club is 85.
Yeah.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's really clever though that they did that.
I feel like it's weird, like marketing, like a marketing.
I think it's funny because it's so you take something that's so iconic and be like, and it kind of gives you a hint at what the movie's going to be like. Where it's like, oh, I think we're going to have fun with this movie.
Yeah,
you know.
I actually had no idea Tobe Hooper directed this the first time we watched it.
I was
and I saw
surprised.
him like, oh man, yeah, and he does the music too for it, which was surprising.
Yeah, he collabs with somebody else. I don't know. It's like a 2-person collaboration.
He's in it too.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, you see his cameo.
Tobe or
yeah.
Who is it?
There's a hotel room. Scene.
Is he one of the 2 cowboys that's walking to the door?
No, he's the one. He's the one that the cowboys are throwing stuff at.
Yeah, Tobe Hooper like stops and like looks at him and then moves on.
Okay.
So. All right, well, let's go ahead and dive on into this movie. The film starts off. We have these 2 kids, Buzz and Rick, and apparently they're 2 high school seniors, and they're just driving around Texas.
I think they're going to like a football game. I think
there's a big football rivalry
Texas
going on in Texas.
OU,
yes.
Oklahoma.
And it's called the Red River rivalry. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah,
and it's like the big thing that happens in Texas around like the fall time because of the football season. So it's weird because the whole movie is pretty much like this is the backdrop. Like they're making like the reason why they're making a lot of chili is because he even says he's like there's a lot of hungry football fans to feed.
Really?
And like
wow, I actually did not catch
I didn't
on
put
to
this
that.
all together.
Yeah, so it's a huge kind of like.
Is that why all those cowboys are at the hotel room?
Yep.
They're all getting ready to go tailgating and stuff.
Yeah,
that's interesting. Yeah, I didn't even put that all together.
Yeah, so it's like it's kind of the backdrop that's playing out.
But again, it's like 2 young teenagers, kind of like every horror movie you have. It's 2 teenagers killed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like leads to the investigation, but this time it's like was it like a radio DJ is witness through the audio of the deaths of teenagers.
Oh, actually I wanted to point out when we were talking about the Texas thing, my girlfriend is from Texas, and apparently none of the geography makes sense where they're talking about, like where they're going,
okay,
where they're like
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was like, none of this is in the same area. Like I guess at one point they're driving, and it says something about the Alamo, and she was like, the Alamo is nowhere near this place in Texas,
That's
and like
cool.
there's all kinds of like random stuff.
Oh, yeah, because they're shooting signs in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, they shoot. Okay, every
Yeah,
sign
and they
that
shoot
see.
like an Alamo sign. And
They just drive around for like 15,000 miles, basically.
Yeah, just shooting
signs.
unlimited bullets.
You know what? I feel bad for one of the kids who wears those glasses the entire time because he never takes them off. And so you could never be like, hey, that's me in that movie. And like, prove it. Let me see your glasses. He doesn't
Yeah.
have them, you know?
Puts
Yeah,
them on.
good point, man.
Right? So these two kids are driving around. They call a radio station. Our main character works at the radio station. I can't remember her name at the moment. But
Stretch.
is that her name?
Yeah.
So they call her up to just like tease her, and then she hangs up. Remember back in the day on a landline that if one of the other person didn't hang up, then the other person couldn't call out?
I was explaining this to my girlfriend. That like that's what was going on.
Yeah.
Because she's like, wouldn't it just be a dead line if like one of them hangs up? And I'm like, no, I think it's like has to do
That's
with.
what I
like-
remember. Like the other person had
Yeah.
to hang up.
Yeah.
Because you just still be on the line, right? You're
Yeah.
like, hang up so I can call
And that's
somebody
what
else.
she does. She keeps telling him like, hang up so I can,
Yeah, and that's why
I don't want to hear you die. I want to talk to the next caller.
But it's cool because they call back later on to like tease her again, and these two kids run into a car or a truck on the bridge, and they're on the phone during all
Yeah.
this. And so this truck not chases them, but kind of like chases them from the side down this 17-mile bridge. And
Driving in reverse too, I think.
this scene is awesome, man. This scene is creepy.
I love this song by Oingo Boingo.
Dude, this soundtrack is
The soundtrack
great.
is pretty cool.
I really want this soundtrack. It's got like the Cramps are on there,
Yeah.
Stuart Copeland,
Yeah.
and
is a
Oingo
good soundtrack.
Boingo.
I think I checked for the OG pressing of this, and I think it's like, like $300.
I saw it we saw it in the wild once, and it was
Did we?
like, yeah,
Ooh, I
it
don't
was
remember.
downtown,
Yeah.
and it was like stupid
Yeah.
money. Nobody was even buying it.
No.
And then somebody bought it.
Of course.
Yeah,
It wasn't me, I promise.
Yeah. But it's one of those soundtracks that's like very highly sought after, because it's just a cool mix of like
Just
punk
rockin' tunes.
and like horror themed rock music, and it's really
Yeah.
cool. But this is why I like this scene so much, is because this Oingo
Oingo
Boingo
Boingo.
song plays.
Do you know in an interview, Danny Elfman has admitted that he's embarrassed and ashamed of a lot of the music he composed as Oingo Boingo?
Really?
Yeah, he talks about how embarrassed he is that some of these music videos, like Weird Science, I think, and
Yeah.
can't remember what else. He's like, I just can't believe that.
I mean,
this
some of
is-
the stuff is like super 80s.
It's very
Yeah,
weird
yeah.
stuff, but like I love it. But
I
yeah,
think,
he's just
I think
like,
it's aged better now because it's like you can kind of put it in its own little time capsule, and
Yeah.
I think it's really fun music.
oh yeah,
So-
I love it. It's like no joke, they're like one of my favorite bands. I
Really?
love their music.
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I like them. I'm not huge into them, and I didn't even realize it was actually Oingo Boingo until you said that. But no, like the whole scene itself, like I'm just trying to like paint it for the audience. But like, so the two high school seniors are driving down the bridge and they're freaking out, and the truck's driving to the side of them, and basically it's someone with a chainsaw, and you can't really see who it is at first, and then you realize that it is the guy from the first one,
The Hitchhiker.
the hitchhiker.
Which they don't
And-
even really they don't
Acknowledge
acknowledge until the end. I think when the dad pulls the body down and
Yeah.
refers him as whatever, and it's like turns out
it's
he's
like
the
newbies or something like that, or
newbies.
it's like
Nubby.
Nubbies.
Nubby?
It's something like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
But like that, well, his name isn't even in the first movie.
it's
I
just
don't think.
Hitchhiker.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just Hitchhiker. But
Yeah.
like, so you would have to have watched been familiar with the family to
Right.
be like, oh, that's him.
Yeah.
Because like Chop Top isn't. Is it Chop Top?
Yeah, Chop Top is Bill Moseley.
Chop Top isn't in the first one.
Nope.
He's the only new addition.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think as like the next movie, the Leatherface 3 and Next Generation, I think they incorporate more members.
Okay, so now
The
I haven't
family.
seen 3 and 4.
I haven't seen 3 or 4 either.
Yeah.
4 is fun. 4 is one of those ones I used to watch a lot as a kid. It's kind of, to me, I remember feeling like just kind of a remake of the first one.
Because Leatherface is like now a cross-dressing maniac or something.
Matthew McConaughey has a robot leg, and it's a weird movie.
Yeah.
Sounds like I'm on
I
board for
want
this.
to watch it just for all of the
Academy Award winner Matthew
stuff.
McConaughey as Robot Leg.
Well, I actually want to do. I've been meaning to watch Leatherface for the longest time because that's Viggo Mortensen's the main character. in
Well,
that.
since I've been going through all these franchises, I guess it's time to watch Leatherface 3 and
There's like 9 of these movies now. Isn't that
oh
insane?
yeah, because they do the remake.
They did the
in
remake, and the remakes had like 3 or 4
Platinum
sequels.
Dunes, and they do a 3D version.
They just had a new one
And
like 2 years ago.
I
Yeah.
know though, like with like for Matthew McConaughey, Renee Zellweger,
Zellweger.
like are embarrassed by that movie. And I want to say, I don't know, this is what kind of the rumor was, but Shout Factory was releasing the 4th one on Blu-ray, and they had those 2 on the front cover. And they were going to release, like, I think bonus footage or whatever, interviews or something like that. And then all of a sudden they went to go release it, and they're like, hey, we have to hold back. There's been a rights issue. And then they released the cover again, and those 2 were like exercised from the front cover.
Oh, okay.
Right? Like,
I don't know if I buy that. I don't think Matthew McConaughey would
like,
care. I don't think Matthew McConaughey would care.
I think they do. I think they're like intensely embarrassed by this movie.
It's going to affect their chances being nominated for more Oscars.
I could see that. I don't know.
But
I don't know.
I feel like
I don't know.
I feel like too. It's
know.
like you can't be embarrassed by like the movies you started off in, especially where you are now.
You haven't seen the 4th one, though. Just
no.
wait.
I mean, George, do you think George Clooney still references Attack of the Killer Tomatoes?
Oh, well, we can
Part
talk
2?
about that. They just announced this a couple of months ago that they had a sequel for the damn Bigfoot movie. What was it called?
Bigfoot 2?
Grizzly.
Oh.
They made Grizzly 2, and they were finally going to release it, and it has, like, George Clooney in it. And,
Oh, yeah.
And who else was in
Yeah.
it? There
Laura
was, like, a
Dern.
good cast of, like, people that, like, had just started out.
Yeah.
And it was, like, big names that they're like, yeah, this movie's been, like, sitting in the vault, or the
Nobody's-
Disney vault
yeah.
forever, and we're finally releasing it.
Disney Vault.
And it's like, everyone was like, oh, that's really kind of cool that it's finally going to get a
You
release.
say that, though, about like not being embarrassed, but if you're cool with it on the Cinema Cult YouTube page, I'm going to throw up that video of you in the cowboy hat when you had braces and we were
Yeah.
chasing each other around the yard.
Yeah,
I mean,
totally.
if you're cool with it,
Yeah,
don't be
you
embarrassed.
just admitted that.
And then he beats me up.
Oh, really?
No, don't beat him
Yeah,
up.
he beats me up. And then that's the family
Tell the
video.
camera I won. Tell the camera.
Our little brother's filming.
Say
and,
uncle. Jake, frame this up better.
Yeah. it's-
Tell
or
me
you're
I won.
or you're next.
So I'll throw it up on YouTube just because you shouldn't be ashamed of your beginnings.
Yeah.
So the 2 kids, they're getting chased by, you think it's the hitchhiker from the first
Yeah.
one, and then it's revealed to be Leatherface.
Yeah, he's like wearing the body, I guess.
It's
I don't-
bizarre.
It's,
It's
like,
cool
a
looking.
puppet. Like they
Yeah.
use him as like a puppet throughout the entire movie.
It's very
Yeah.
weird.
So it's a really cool chase scene, and then the kids are firing the gun, and Leatherface is putting the chainsaw into the car, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you find out that chainsaw hit the driver with his saw.
It is crazy.
It's disturbing looking. His
Yeah.
head is like split open.
and then it cuts to
gross.
the back of the head, and you see the top fall off, and it's like squirting blood, and his hands are in the air like grabbing
Yeah.
for nothing.
Yeah.
Dude, it's
Very, very crazy.
It's a disturbing scene.
I-
But what
which
a
would
what a
say-
way to start off a movie, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we should mention that Tom Savini did the special effects for this movie.
I totally forgot
Oh,
that. Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Yep.
That makes sense. So these 2 kids die, and we meet Dennis Hopper, who... What does Dennis Hopper do for a living?
He's an ex-Texas Ranger.
Yeah, I think that's
Yes,
what
okay, I
they're
never
saying.
caught. And he's basically... We talked about this earlier. He's the uncle of
Sally and
Franklin from the first one. So he's out for revenge. And he's... I don't know. I don't want to say his character's wasted, but I wish there was more of him
It's
in this movie.
definitely wasted because he doesn't. There's like large chunks of time where he's not in the movie whatsoever.
Especially the last
Yeah.
40 minutes when he's upstairs sawing away.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, he would have been downstairs by now.
I would have, to be honest, I would have much rather see him sawing random shit for chunks of time
yeah.
than not see him do any of that.
Yeah, because
Bring it all down.
It gets a little weird though because the scene that this is what I wanted to bring up with you guys, but the scene that directly follows this like
This is chili
crash car scene, this car crash scene.
Yeah.
It's Dennis Hopper. He's like, I need you to help me out. He's like, put up the
So she
put out-
records everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he tells the detective, he's like, just put it out in the newspapers and see if anybody knows anything.
Yeah.
That'd be great. And it's like, all right, cool. And then in the very next scene, Caroline Williams has read the newspaper already, and she's bringing the tape of the 2 teenagers that got killed to the hotel room where
Right.
Dennis Hopper is staying.
Right.
She goes in, and Dennis Hopper's like all beat up and like
He does.
Oh.
He looks
and it's
sick.
weird. It's like I was like, is there? And I was watching. I was like, is there like 20 minutes or something missing from this story? Where,
I was
like,
wondering about that.
he was like gung ho in the scene, and then the very next scene, she's like, hey, I've got this tape. I want you to listen to it. And he's like, just get out of here. And it's like, wait, what happened? Like you just established his motivation in this one scene,
And
then
then-
in the very next scene, you're
That
like,
is weird.
I don't want any help. He's like, you can't help me, sister. Sorry, get out of here.
Sister.
It's very weird.
It is. I totally agree. So she offers to help. She's like, "Hey, I've got it all recorded. We can give this out to there, and we can show people like these 2 kids were murdered."
Right.
Because I think the police just think like, "Oh, they were just."
It's just a car accident.
Yeah. So while this is going on,
missing. Guy's missing his head.
while this is going on, our character from the first one is winning a chili cook-off.
Yeah, it's like the annual chili cock.
What?
Chili cook the chili cook-off.
Because are they at the same hotel where Dennis Hopper's staying?
Yes.
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
That's
because
the
it's like
hotel.
she like confronts him and she's like, "Fine, I go downstairs for this chili cook-off."
Yeah,
And dude, it's so gross because you know this chili has human.
it is.
Oh, she like takes out a nail.
nasty.
Yeah, well, she takes like a spoon and eats it, like gross. Then she takes out a nail or something.
I'm
Yes.
assuming it's a nail because he's like, oh, that's one of them peppercorn flakes.
I thought it was a-
Oh,
that was a good
that
accent.
is
That was good.
wretched.
And like,
Because I think he's also
like, I'm
holding the
pretty sure it's a
trophy.
fingernail or something.
The trophy's like hugging his chest. It's getting all over his clothes and everything.
Yeah,
just
it's
the
real stupid
nastiest.
looking. And then, but this is all, once again, the editing in this movie is really confusing.
Yeah.
Because then, like, they establish, like, 3 scenes later, he's coming home from the chili cook-off, but it's been, like, a couple of days.
Oh, because is he like driving home or
It's
something?
confusing as hell.
It is. Now that you,
You
say
know what I
that.
mean? Because, like,
Yeah.
what happens after this scene? He wins the chili contest, and then she goes to work the next day and plays the tape on. I don't know. I'm really, like, I'm trying to
Yeah.
paraphrase this. But at one point,
She plays the tape on the radio like every hour.
But she meets up with Dennis Hopper again.
Who Dennis Hopper says, "You need to play this,"
Yeah.
and she goes, "Okay, I'll play it." He's driving home in the truck.
So there's got to been like a day or two
Yeah,
that's
it's
passed.
kind of weird.
But
Yeah.
like he's coming home from the chili cook-off, and while she's on the radio playing the tape.
Right, and because I think
Yeah.
Chop Top and Leatherface they're
I mean-
like playing it on the phone for him.
I'm assuming you could argue that like, oh well, it's been within 24 hours or
It
whatever.
could
Right.
be, yeah.
But it's just kind of confusing that it's like it
And-
feels like it's like that him driving home with the chili
And this
would have
is-
been like 30 minutes after he won the
Yeah.
chili. not
Honestly, I didn't
a day
really
later.
notice it when I was watching it.
Yeah, I did. It was the
you?
editing was like the editing was very weird in this movie.
But yeah, so she's playing it over.
Structure-wise.
She's playing it on the radio, and they're freaking out because now, like, okay.
They know,
know.
yeah.
So we cut to her that night, the radio DJ, and what's her name? Stretch. You said
Stretch.
And so she's doing her show. It ends at like 1 a.m. or whatever. And then we get our first appearance. This is the first appearance of Chop Top, right? This is the first time we
He's
see him
waiting
doing
in
it.
the silhouette or the shadows.
Dude, this whole scene is awesome, man. So she comes downstairs inside the radio station. He's just sitting there, and he's got like this like little like Beatles looking wig on. He's got these like he's very 60s
I
inspired.
think it's specifically supposed to be Sonny Bono wig because he like mentions how when
yeah.
spoiler Leatherface cuts the wig off his head, he's like, "You ruined my Sonny Bono
That's right.
wig."
Dude, he does so good in this, man. He's such a creepy character.
Yeah, I mean, Bill Moseley, I think, is a pretty good like character actor.
He is.
to be honest.
And he does a really cool thing here where he has a coat hanger and he keeps lighting it with a lighter and then he
Ugh.
scratches his head
This
and then
is
he licks the
nasty.
coat hanger.
Yeah,
And
basically
it's-
the dead flesh off.
He's also
whatever.
picking it off of his head.
Yeah.
and
It's so gross
eating it.
looking.
Now, maybe we can talk about this because I'm not. This isn't like a theory of mine, but do each of the characters kind of like have their own decade wardrobe going on here? Like where I mean, including the hitchhiker. Like, could the hitchhiker be like 70s and Chop Top is like 1960s?
Because I think he does.
I don't know.
Would
specifically talk
Leatherface
about-
like
oh.
fit into somewhere? Would he be like? They all have kind of like really like extremely different outfits.
yeah,
going
different
on.
like character
Yeah.
characteristics or whatever.
And they talk about generational stuff a lot in these two movies.
It's possible.
I honestly didn't even really
Well,
notice
it's all
what
the
like
movies.
Leatherface. I didn't really notice like his costume or whatever.
But he's wearing okay. I really really love this outfit that he wears in this, and it's the suit with the gloves and then like the
Oh,
like, him
yeah.
wearing the face.
because he's only wearing like the apron and like he does wear like a shirt and tie. I think in the first movie, but it's mostly just like the apron. I
but
think.
this one he like wears a suit, and I think it's like
Yeah,
the coolest
it's
looking
pretty
thing that he
cool.
has a suit with the
Yeah.
chainsaw, and it's like
I
it's
do
a
like
really
the
cool
way it looks.
look.
Yeah.
As far as like if we could talk about like what monsters look really, or like what serial
iconic
killers,
like costumes.
iconic slasher killers
Yeah.
look, and
I think
'cause, like,
Leatherface
Michael
has definitely
Myers-
always stuck out to me.
that's where Michael Myers kind of suffers, is because he's just stuck to the jumpsuit and the white mask.
Yeah, he's got to hide
But
in the shadows.
Even like Jason in all of his movies, there's ones where he looks badass in 7.
It always changed from movie to movie.
Yeah, but we've talked about on the podcast how we like how he looks in 6.
Yeah.
Because he's got the tool belt and the workman gloves, and he just looks really cool.
Like Pinhead, he's always wearing like the S&M or whatever gear.
Once again, kind of stuck to his own outfit.
Yeah, Child's Play, it's always the little outfit.
But, even with Child's Play, he looks really cool in Bride of Chucky, where he's like pieced together.
Right.
And he's kind of like Frankenstein's monster, which is really neat.
Sure.
And
I think Leatherface is really the only one that... Leatherface and Jason are really the only ones that kind of like change throughout.
But even like Nightmare on Elm Street, like Freddy kind of his outfit will change every now and then.
I say he probably
pertaining
looks
to the dream.
I say he probably looks best. Oh yeah, that's true.
Just superhero Freddy and
Freddy as Freddy, I'd say looks probably the best in New Nightmare, where he's got that leather jacket.
He does, dude. He looks really cool in New Nightmare. Yeah. But it's just interesting to like break down like where they look like the coolest,
right?
And Ghostface is one that's like he's always stuck to the outfit.
Yeah,
like, they can't do much with that.
These are very good points.
Actually, I like the Scary Movie where he's got the tongue. Hanging out.
Remember all those off-brand Scream masks that they used to sell?
Yeah, when you couldn't get the top tier that costs like $100, you had to get the.
You had to get the goofy ones.
Matt used to go to school in a Scream mask and with a Terminator hand. That was Matt's everyday uniform.
Every goddamn day. Every goddamn day uniform.
Matt used to play with Pogs with his Terminator hand.
Yep.
It wouldn't be an episode if I didn't talk about Pogs.
Trying to do old school ollies, but that was back then when they were just called ollies.
Whatever happened to skateboarding?
Because it was already old school.
So Bill Moseley, or Chop Top, is confronting Stretch, and this is what we were talking about earlier. This is such a good scare because as they're talking, like the tension's building up.
He's like walking back to this, or kind of back to the wall. And
he's like, is this where they keep all the records at? And he goes to turn on the light, and since you're already with the bad or like the monster, you don't expect to be another monster to jump out,
right?
And all of a sudden, Leatherface comes out of nowhere.
It's pretty cool.
Such a good scare, man.
Is it like the chainsaw that's lighting up the room, or does the light turn on behind in that room itself? Or
I think Chop Top turns on.
Oh, okay.
I think.
And then
and then so there's this whole chase scene with them, because at this point I think her friend's dead, or no, her friend's not dead yet.
He hasn't arrived yet.
Yeah. So he shows up, and Chop Top ends up like hammering him to death for like ever, and then Leatherface is going after Stretch. And they kind of have like this sexual tension between them.
This scene is like...
There's like a couple of these scenes.
Yeah, this one though with the chainsaw and like him kind of like pointing it to her like upper legs. And at one point like he like pokes her like a couple times in the crotch.
And it's not suggested.
It's very like, ugh.
Yeah.
And then he ends up not killing her because they kind of have something.
Well,
so
he has
walks
something.
away. Well, yeah. He walks away, and Chop Top's like, "Did you kill her?" He says, "Yes." And they end up leaving. And then, so she survives, and then the buddy doesn't. They take off with him. I don't know if this is the very next scene, but I think it's one of the better scenes in the movie when Dennis Hopper goes chainsaw shopping.
Oh, yeah.
It's cool because
that guy's just like breathing real heavy and cheering. It's like,
well, Dennis Hopper comes in, he lays out a bunch of $100 bills, picks out his 3 saws, and the guy says something about him. He's like, "Don't you want to test them?" And Dennis Hopper goes out, and he tests the hell out of these chainsaws on this log.
Yeah.
And it's goofy, but it's cool at the same time. Like
he's got to get prepared. He's doing like the dagger, and he's like swinging to get ready to...
I mean, it would make more sense for if you were going to go get the people that killed your niece's nephew.
Yeah.
That maybe perhaps guns would be a more efficient way. But then you want to have a cool movie where you have chainsaw battles.
I'd say his outfit alone is actually pretty awesome because it starts out with like the white suit with the cowboy hat, and then when he gets basically the holsters for the chainsaws basically is what they are.
Yeah,
it's cool because he actually has like a little cushion. He put like a little foam padding on the holsters themselves because it's like the weight basically. That was a pretty cool touch.
Yeah, I think it's cool. Like, I don't have much to add to what you're saying, but I think it's just like there are like times with like
they're just like
design flair.
Yeah, it's
like,
just like it's just embracing it at
Yeah.
this point. Where just like, okay, this character just has 3 chainsaws.
Yeah.
Well, this is actually where the movie kind of, I wouldn't say falls flat for me, but I feel like most movies are broken up into acts. I feel like this movie's broken up to a half because now she goes to take off to follow them.
Yeah.
And then this whole last 45 minutes of this movie is in this underground lair thing.
Right.
And I wish they wouldn't have done it for that long under there. That's my only beef with this movie.
Oh man,
It
at one
drags.
point I closed my window in my apartment and turned it down because I just got. At first, it's like I didn't want. They just people listening, and then it turned into just my annoyance. But that scene where she's just screaming at the dinner table.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
all
Because
right.
I think they're probably trying to just redo the first
Yeah.
movie because I think she does the same
But it
thing.
just goes on forever, and I was like, "This was the worst scene from the first movie. Like, this is the only scene from the first movie that I would probably take out or
Yeah.
like trim heavily down."
Well, it's
just annoying.
It goes on for a long time.
Yeah, to the point
too.
where it's not even like it's not shocking and it's not
Yeah.
scary. It's just like
It's just going on for.
and it's like where you're like, for the love of God, would somebody kill her? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it makes you turn around, where all of a sudden you're like, you feel for this character, where you're just like, just shut her up.
yeah.
Like, she's just
yeah.
screaming.
She
for
does
30
really. I
minutes.
like her a lot. In
She
this,
does,
though.
yeah, she
I
does
do
get
like
it.
her.
I do.
Yeah.
I like her a lot. I
But
think
there
she
are
does a good
scenes like
job,
where
but
it's so-
I'm just saying that I liked Sally from the first one.
Yeah.
But it just goes on too long.
It's
goes
almost
on,
like
yeah.
they had to fill up time on to make it a feature film.
I agree. Yeah.
Because there's definitely lots where it's just like, okay, this scene is just going on for way too
Well,
long.
that first
you know?
one's 84 minutes. I just watched it like a week ago. So yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Like, oh, maybe they stretched it on so they can
Yeah.
get that full
Yeah.
time.
But then it's just
But
like
this one's an hour and 40 minutes, so they could have cut like 10 minutes of that
I think they
screaming
probably
out.
could have cut off some time. But again, there's probably also scenes where it's just like, oh, this is like a good take. Let's just keep the cameras rolling until
Yeah.
it, like
I can't imagine being an actress and this is what you have to do the entire movie. That'd be so exhausting.
I'm sure it's an exhausting.
They
shoot.
said that for her casting, what she did to impress Tobe Hooper and the other producer was that she, instead of just walking into the door
and like acting or
and
whatever.
acting, she ran down the hallway screaming,
Really?
ran into the room screaming, and then started grabbing the chairs and like trying to get them to help
man.
barricade the door. Like get the two to help barricade.
I just
really clever. That's
I
actually
just
really
imagine-
got the role.
I just imagine they call her name and then she just stands at the end of the hallway and starts running. And then when that happens, the rest of the people who are auditioning just like got up and left. They're
Oh,
like,
son of a
okay,
bitch.
damn
cool. Or they
it.
do it too, and they're like, "Nice try."
Yeah,
That would feel. I feel really stupid if like there was like 3 copycats afterwards. Like, oh, I will just do the same thing.
They look and are dressed similar too.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
So Stretch takes off to follow them, and then Dennis Hopper chases her, or follows her to see where she's going.
you think like he would stick his head out of the window and be like, "Hey, Stretch, it's me," you know,
Right, but he
instead of
doesn't.
like chasing her down for like
Yeah.
3,000 miles, basically.
Well, they get to where I guess they have a new home. They don't live in the same home as the first one.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
an underground.
It's like it's under an amusement park.
It looks like it's an amusement park.
Yeah.
yeah.
So she falls
Which I
through a-
wonder. I wanted to bring this up real quick because, like, now
Yeah.
you said that is it saying something with the movie with like how many amusement parks there are in Texas or whatever, or like just because like they spend the first like 5 minutes of the movie shooting signs for,
Oh yeah.
for amusement parks and like
I don't know.
all the stuff you should look at when you're in Texas, and then the movie ends with them in a
You know?
giant like
yeah.
an old dilapidated whatever it is amusement park.
I don't know. It could be. It could be.
Yeah,
It could be.
it could be.
It could be. So she ends up falling through a hole into like their lair where they live now, and Dennis Hopper goes down
It's
to and follows
convenient.
her.
A convenient hole that she
Oh,
had
totally.
to be
With a
standing on.
with a chute and everything, like a slide, a little, like a fun slide and everything.
Yeah.
Well, she falls down the hole and she kind of sneaks around. And this is probably the most intense scene I think of the movie. She ends up hiding inside like their like meat locker type thing.
Oh.
And while she's hiding, they're skinning her friend.
Yeah, LG, I think.
And then she
LG,
makes
they got you too.
she makes a noise and Leatherface comes over.
there's
And he
more
doesn't
of
want
the-
her he doesn't want her to get caught. So he's like, "Here, is he trying? Okay, well, I'll tell you what he does and then I'll ask you." So he takes the face off of her friend and puts it on her face and tells her to be quiet. And it's disturbing as hell. Like, This
Yeah.
is a really like what
Yeah.
would like if you were in that situation, you probably just comply. You know?
Yeah, there's even I think Leatherface grabs the hat and everything and like
Yeah.
turns her into him.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Is he doing that to protect her so she won't get caught, or is he just trying to get her to dress up like him?
I thought it was to dress up like him.
Okay, see, at
Yeah,
first I
that's
thought
what
it
I
was
was
so
thinking.
she wouldn't
be
get caught.
like another like a female Leatherface,
Realize-
basically.
okay. So they do this whole like dance around and everything, and then he leaves, and then LG is still not dead, her friend,
And
then
she has
like
no idea that it's him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
until he says
Yeah.
something. I
And
think he
then
starts
he
spitting.
starts-
I think.
yeah, and he spits and he starts talking and he dies, and then she like comically puts his face back on his head, kind of like.
Oh, I didn't
it's like-
realize how stupid that was until you just said it out
Yeah,
loud.
it's the equivalent of closing the eyes when they're dead. It's just like putting your face on.
Yeah, but what
face
would
back on.
But like, what would you do in that situation?
not
Would
do
you
it.
just-
Not put it on him.
If you were wearing my face
Yes.
and I had just died, would you just put my face back in my pocket,
No, I think
or
you would
just throw it on the ground, or
throw it like a
Back in your
frisbee.
pocket. Why? Yeah, I just.
I
get
don't
rid
know
of it.
what's stupider, dude. Throwing it on the ground, putting it in my pocket,
These are my
or putting
options?
it back on my face.
Just
you gotta,
drop it.
Yeah, so you just drop my face on the ground.
That's
and-
very disrespectful.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
See what I mean?
Shame on you.
There you go, dude.
Can't believe you do your brother like that.
So she ends up getting caught, and then this is when they do the whole dinner scene.
It's
that
like
goes
reenacting,
on.
basically.
Yeah, same dinner
He's a
scene from the first
one-hitter.
one.
But then it's like this time, because do they hint at the grandpa being alive in the first one?
Yes, he's the one with he hits her in the head with a hammer.
Oh, and they do
Yeah.
the same thing here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do the exact same thing.
Okay.
But I think this is weird. So I always thought in
He's
the
been
first
living
one
forever off of human blood.
he's
Yeah.
137 years old.
Yeah,
Holy.
that's what they say in the first one, right?
No, they
Yeah.
said in this one.
Did they say it in this one too?
The only thing I never understood was, or at least I thought, that in the first one, I thought the grandpa was wearing a face mask in the first one. I always
Oh.
thought that.
Oh, yeah.
Just bad makeup.
Yeah, it just. But then,
Yeah.
actually, I prefer this scene over the dinner, even though I'm like, all right, I've already seen this in the first one. This dinner scene is better than the first one, I think.
Yes, I'll agree with you on that.
There's a lot of like close-ups of the grandpa's face while he's trying to
Oh,
enter. It's a
yeah.
really intense scene.
yeah.
Meanwhile, this is going on. It's taking Dennis Hopper an hour to walk down a flight of stairs.
He's too busy cutting down all the stuff.
Yeah, with his quiet chainsaws.
yeah.
That
But
don't echo at all.
no. And then eventually he comes downstairs, and him and Leatherface
This-
have this huge battle.
This entrance is awesome.
Yeah.
Did you notice that he's wearing straps that usually you put bullets in? Like, you
Yeah.
know what I'm talking about? Like the straps
Like a
Bandolero.
that they're called.
yeah.
But instead of bullets, they're extra chains for the chainsaws.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I didn't
I
notice
didn't-
that until I
notice
watched it this time. But him,
Bandolier.
Bandolier.
Right?
I don't
think
know. You looked at me. I asked
I can't
you.
remember if it's
Yeah.
Bandolier or Bandolero.
Bandolier.
Antonia Bandolera. So him and Leatherface get into this whole duel, and his chainsaw goes right into Leatherface's stomach throughout his back.
Yeah.
Yet Leatherface is still able to like battle.
Yeah.
And
It's
there's
also
also
a really cool
and then
battle.
There's another movie after this.
There's a
Right?
couple, yeah. Which I was just assuming that maybe at that point somebody else is Leatherface.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Well, can we talk about like the first thing he does is he rams the chainsaw up the dad's butt?
Does he?
Like, yeah.
I don't remember this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like he turns around, he rams the chainsaw up the
Ooh.
dude's butt. He's like, oh!
And then he goes and hides under the table, and I think he survives.
No, he
That's-
blows himself up.
They all die.
Oh yeah, because he gets the grenade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So meanwhile he's under the table. He pulls out a grenade from the hitchhiker.
Yeah.
He's got a hitchhiker with him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he pulls the pin on the grenade. He dies. How's Leatherface's demise end up? How does he end up dying?
I'm assuming they all blow
Yeah,
up.
I think
but
they
it's
all
kinda
just-
off. It's off screen, so it's a
Yeah.
little weird. Like they're
Yeah.
on top of the table, on top of him with the grenade.
Because Stretch and Chop Top, they end up going above ground, and
Yeah.
then the whole underground blows up. And
and then Dennis Hopper dies right here too, right?
yep,
Okay.
I think
Sure.
so. I think yeah.
Like,
I
we
think
don't
So
it's-
see
meanwhile-
it, and we don't like.
That's
it's
the
just- you
last
just hear
of
an
it.
explosion.
that's why this whole franchise doesn't make sense because there's another movie after this, and I think they kind of overwrite what happens in this movie. I feel
Yeah.
like.
It's possible. Chop Top takes off and chases Stretch, and this is a really cool. I do like this. It goes on a little long, but there's this whole chase scene. I like the angles that they have with them running up the
Yeah.
steps. It's a really cool looking shot because now they're outside, but they're kind of in this amusement park now.
Right.
And she ends up. How does she end up killing Chop Top? What's the?
Well, she goes into this like shrine.
Yeah.
Where there's like apparently grandmother's still alive, even though she looks.
oh, yeah,
I-
that's
no,
right, that's
Grandma's
right.
dead.
No, she's dead. She's still alive. I think up until that point because he looks over at Chop Top.
Oh, I think he's like I think she's dead. I think that like it. I always thought it was like he just disgraced. Like
No,
she
she's just like
disgraced him.
she's just like Grandpa because she rips the chainsaw and then he's like Grandma, and then you see the head turn over to Chop Top and then
Oh, really?
yeah, and then
Oh,
Chop
I
Top's
didn't-
like
I don't know how I missed that too.
Yeah,
Chop Top's like you killed her, blah blah blah. You know,
I
He
do
said
remember that.
yeah.
I don't think she was alive. I don't know.
I don't
All right,
even remember him
review
saying
it.
any of this stuff.
Review it. Go back and watch
I'm
it
going to.
because the grandma like the head. You can see it.
I thought it was a skeleton.
The slight shake in your voice is like great for
Like
this.
you're questioning this. You're like,
Grandma,
the grandma.
the grandma. Her
I thought she was a
head slowly
skeleton.
turns.
I thought she was a skeleton.
No, I mean it's just like Grandpa, where Grandpa looks like a skeleton.
Okay.
I don't know about that. Okay, we'll review it on the next episode.
Pride is on the line.
I'm in it if I was wrong. I could have sworn.
I'm like 95% sure.
How does she kill him?
What do you mean?
Or how does Caroline Williams?
I think by ripping her arms off or whatever, the chainsaw. Because it's like encased on the chainsaw, and she rips like the skeleton.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh, so it is a skeleton, you say?
Yeah, but Grandpa's also a skeleton.
No, he's not.
And he's alive.
We'll talk about this. Stay tuned.
Pride is on the line here.
So she ends up like,
and then
this is brutal though,
Yeah,
because she takes the chainsaw and she's
swiping
trying to like start it up.
Oh,
and he's like just cutting the hell out of her back. He's
doing the
razor.
same thing as they're climbing up. He's swiping at her legs. Yeah. She's all cut up on the legs and stuff. And
so how does she end up? Because I know he ends up falling off of it.
She swipes twice.
That's right. Yeah, and then
like guts falling out and stuff.
Oh, okay, I do remember this now.
And he falls backwards.
Yeah, and it's a really cool the way he falls and like slides down into this hole. It's a really good stunt.
It's awesome.
Well, actually, he does a good stunt earlier.
I watched this and I was like, dude, the accuracy you would have to have with this stunt with falling into the tunnel looks so precise. Where it's like he bounces like 3 or 4 times before he like doesn't knock his head on the tunnel.
It's like those videos where they throw the ping pong and it's like boom, 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 and he goes right into the golf hole or whatever.
And they make it look like it was the first time.
Yeah.
Wait, he does a really cool stunt earlier when he's chasing her. She's walking across like this rope bridge, and he pulls himself up and like flips over the bridge.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
He did some like good physical stunts in this. But he ends up going down this hole, and the last shot is her on top of this shrine, and the camera is like zoomed up on her, and she's doing the dance that Leatherface did from the first one, and it cuts.
Yep.
That's the end of the
Hard
movie.
cut.
So after we're talking about this, I think she becomes Leatherface.
Oh.
That's what I think.
Interesting.
Because I know in the fourth one, like, Leatherface always putting on lipstick and wearing dresses.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's supposed to be her story, is that she becomes Leatherface.
No, I don't think so, but that's a cool theory.
But in Leatherface 3, she's in it, uncredited, but there's also a dude playing Leatherface.
Okay, maybe you just ruined my excitement
for
watching the third one.
She's in it,
but I'll let you know because I'm going through all these franchises.
Yeah, she goes under a different name or something like that. I did read that she's in like Caroline Williams is in that one of the Hatchet movies, which we talked about the third one.
Yeah,
and she's in Sharknado, and she said Sharknado like 4 or whatever, but she said she plays the same character of Stretch in all of those movies.
Oh, interesting.
But she's not like credited as Stretch.
I see. Okay.
But it's the only one she doesn't like think that was Sharknado. She doesn't count that. But she plays a reporter in all these movies.
Okay,
And,
that's
cool.
yeah, so it's kind of like everyone's involved. I'm like, yeah, that's Stretch from
that's neat.
Texas Chainsaw. But
cool,
yeah, okay. So how do you guys feel about this movie?
Well, let's go ahead and grade it. Matt, what would you grade it?
I'd give it about a C.
Okay,
I think it's a C for me.
Anto?
Probably C as well.
Okay, I'll give it a B minus.
Not enough Dennis Hopper.
Yeah.
I like it's a weird movie because I do enjoy it, but I don't love it. Like I think there's some great scenes in it. I think it's a good movie.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people rave about this. It's good.
Yeah,
I think it's good. Like 80s.
I like it better than Mouth
movie.
of Madness. Did you guys like it better than Mouth of Madness?
I like it in the Mouth of Madness better.
Really?
Yeah, better pacing.
Yeah, way better.
Really?
pacing,
Oh,
yeah.
I'm interested. I thought you
Yeah,
would all be on the
I'm
same
not saying
page.
Could you
movie's
not tell
like-
by the letter grade I gave this? And
Yeah,
versus-
I'm not saying this movie's trash or anything.
No,
I
it's
like
not,
it,
yeah.
and this is the third time I've seen it.
Yeah,
I'll probably watch it
I would
again.
definitely watch it again. But I just think that as a whole, the pacing was off. They could have trimmed easily like 20 minutes.
I agree.
And again, not enough Dennis Hopper. I mean, you got a grade A actor right there at your arsenal. You got to utilize them.
I want more Dennis Hopper, and I feel like the story kind of like dries out in a good chunk of scenes where it's like as soon as she gets to the amusement park place, it feels like it's just kind of like stagnant.
I do agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Or, for like 20, 30 minutes in this movie. And I kept looking at the clock. I was like, when is Dennis Hopper popping back up? And it's like, is this movie... And like at one point did this movie really have like an hour left?
I paused it to use the restroom, and I was like, I can wait. It's got 10 minutes left. And I paused it, and it was like 25 minutes left. I was like, why?
Yeah.
I was like, what's in this last 25 minutes that's going to eat up all that time?
Yeah. So I think that's my problem, too. I just think that ending just needed to be cut a little bit. Like I said, I wish it was more into thirds, because I feel like that first 30, 40 minutes, you're setting up the story, and then that second act never happens. Now you're at the finale.
Right.
I feel like it's weird how it does that. Other than that, I think it's a fun movie. I'll definitely watch it again. I don't like it a lot more than Mouth of Madness, but just a little bit. So, all right. Well, that'll wrap it up for Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Join us next time for Hanta's pick. Hanta, what is your pick?
We're going to be talking about OG Dawn of the Dead.
And we'll probably talk about the remake, as you said, a little bit.
I gotta refamiliarize myself with that. I kind of want to do treat it as like a kind of like a versus in a way.
Okay, yeah.
I wish I would have picked a sequel, knowing that you guys both picked sequels.
Oh, I mean,
I wish I would have done
didn't even,
that.
think about that.
Like,
do you want to pick another one?
No, we already did ours. We already did mine.
We can do another one. It's okay.
Do we want to talk about the group pick that we have coming up?
Yeah. Our final Halloween episode will be the Evil Dead trilogy. We got tickets to go see it at the drive-in. They're playing all three of them.
Yeah.
So we figured that we would talk about all three of them. We're not going to break them down like we usually do. It'll be more of an open discussion, if anything.
Yeah.
So, because that would take hours. So, but thank you so much for listening to October Scarefest. We love doing these. We hope you like listening to them. We love doing them. We hope you love them. I'm Chris.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Honto.
And we'll catch you next time.
I don't care.
I don't care.
I don't care.
This is my funny face.
That's stupid.
You might have to wait. That kid's coming back with the basketball. If that doesn't, I mean, did that sound that bad?
I didn't actually even notice it. I only noticed because Chris pointed out that you were looking off in the distance.
You do, man. You'll be like, just record, it's fine. And someone will be like, you're like, just like watch them.
Yeah. Like a big steamroller just driving by. Nah, it's fine. It's good.
Kid was juggling feathers, and Matt was like,
excuse me.
Hey, feather juggler.
That sounds like a dubbed-in like curse word. See you later, feather juggler.
Somebody's smuggling plums, and you're like,
plum smuggler.
I can hear you.
There was a diehard. He said, yippee-ki-yay.
Mr. Falcon.
Mr. Falcon.
Yeah. Mr. Falcon.
And then stupid. They dubbed it on the TV version. He's like, yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon.
And it's like, the voice is like way different.
I cannot believe they made that movie with the pretense of like, let's see if we can get away from the R rating. And it's like, really, like, that's the whole thing about Die Hard movies.
No, this is Die Hard 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is with the plane. Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were talking
Speaking
about
of Die Hard, did you know Vigo, Carpathian, is one of the henchmen in first Die Hard?
I remember that.
I should have brought that up.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is. He's one of the background guys. He's not like the long-haired dude he fights.
Oh, that's what you were trying to say.
Yeah, he's the. I think he's
the one who's like this.
Yeah.
What was like the weird? Oh yeah. The guy, Hunter sent me this a couple weeks ago. The guy who gets eaten on the subway in American Werewolf in London.
Oh yeah,
is Bib Fortuna from Return of the Jedi with the tentacle around his neck.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, I can see it.
Jabba. You know, he does that like.
I can totally see that.
Dodo Wonka. Like,
wow, you really know those lines.
Did you buy any records off that Light in the Attic website?
I did. I bought Maniac Cap 2.
Maniac
Cap 2.
Those are movies I can't get into.
I watched those 3 movies
Did you?
the other day. First one is actually not bad.
I feel like you, like
I rewatched the first one.
You're like the guy. You're like the killer from Da Vinci Code, and he just like whips himself. You're like, I'm gonna watch all the Maniac Cops today.
What's
Tomorrow,
on the docket today?
Maniac
Cop, Hatchet franchise,
the Omen movie. And
Omen.
I know you're reaching to cap off October with the Puppet Master movies.
Yeah,
and you're like, here we go.
2 whips, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Little Strike.
Like September was the bike challenge, and then October.
I'm really trying to push for like movies I haven't seen instead of watching.
Me too. I am too. I'm trying to get like I'm honestly, it's hard finding new stuff. I'm trying to watch new stuff in October.
I like
we can talk about that in podcasts actually.
I like the Mario Bava I haven't gone past Bay of Blood and Black Sunday, but I thought Bay of Blood was kind of not good.
Yeah.
But Black Sunday, I think, is legitimately awesome. The way it's shot.
Sunday.
It's
It's
a black and white gothic. But I like how they use the lighting in that movie. It's really awesome. But yeah, I've been watching some trash movies here and there.
We talk about, if you want to do podcasts, I'm fine with that.
We can talk. I know we just talked about October when we watched.
All right.
But
3, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.